Happy Friday, and thanks for making it through another week with us here on the Rocketeer Minute, where each and every day, Monday through Friday, we go over 1 minute of the greatest adventure movie that Walt Disney's ever made, the 1991 Joe Johnston directed feature, The Rocketeer. I'm one of your hosts, Jim O'Kane of TVDads.com.
And I'm Hal Bryan, an airplane nerd from the Experimental Aircraft Association here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Wait, Hal, are you hearing something?
I am.
You're listening to a special Billy Campbell episode on the Rocketeer Minute. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Campbell.
And I'm Billy Campbell in the acting department on Rocketeer.
The man with a fanfare. So, Billy, thanks so much for being back with us here. And again, this is definitely a nail biter of a minute because we're starting with you biting your nails.
Starting with me biting my nails.
Yeah. Was that in the script or was that?
No, it wasn't in the script. And damn it, it's one of the things that I wish I'd done better. I would, if you look at it, I'm not actually realistically chewing my nails.
It looks like you're spitting away chunks of it, though.
Yeah, you do turn and spit just a little bit.
I do turn and spit, but I wasn't spitting anything. I was just faking chewing my nails, and it always bugs me because I'm not chewing them in the way that you actually chew your nails.
Well, this is the way Cliff does it, so you're working through it, but it's it is a great little bit. I've got to talk about something that my wife brought up. This is off topic. Well, not quite off topic because we're still talking about the Rocketeer Minute. Every day that we've had this show, I keep saying this is the greatest adventure movie that Walt Disney's ever made. And she claims that there are more adventurous movies. And her point of contention, I may have her on the show sometime. We might invite her on, but she says that John Carter is a more adventurous show. And
well, it depends what she means by adventurous, but I would say that Rocketeer is maybe the sweetest adventure film Disney's ever made. Maybe there's more adventure in John Carter. Does she mean John Carter of Mars?
Yeah, John Carter of Mars, which they had. I think that was one of the big. Someday we'll do the John Carter Minute, but I think that Disney is phenomenal for making mistakes about selling adventure movies. And I keep thinking if they had called it A Princess of Mars, which was the original title,
right?
I think people would have joined up on it. But then I guess they would have thought they would have had something like Frozen or Tangled or one of the other Disney films. But, I mean, it is an adventurous movie. But, I mean, they've made other adventure movies like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which I love. I love that movie.
Oh, I can't wait to see the one that's coming.
Yes, we'll see how it goes. Or, just please.
Oh, no, sorry. It's not that. That's not what it is. It's Journey to the Center of
Journey to the Center of the Earth. Yeah. It's another Verne piece. But I'm just hoping, don't ruin it. That's all. I'm hoping that they don't ruin, the Pat Boone one. And that was.
But I mean, at the very least, with James Cameron involved, that it'll be chunky goodness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be. It's not going to be completely off in. Yeah. Tone and
at least 3 stars. That's where it goes.
Del Toro and Cameron.
Yeah. Yeah, and such a great. It's a story everybody knows. You want to find out about Arnie Sacknewson.
Wait, is it Del Toro? No. What's his name? The filmmaker.
Rodriguez.
No, the guy who made Pan's Labyrinth or whatever it was called.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro.
That's Guillermo right. He is a Del Toro. Okay,
as soon as you said Del Toro, I'm thinking Benicio. But
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
then I was like,
just Guillermo.
Yeah. Guillermo.
Yeah. Thank you. I was going to say I can think of it, I can picture it. I can't say that I can pronounce it.
It's got to be better.
That's actually that is Spanish for William.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Guillermo.
It's got to be better than the Brendan Fraser one. I mean, I know he tried very hard, but that was a movie that's best forgotten.
No.
So we'll see, and I think that's due out next year, isn't it? So we'll see. Well, some people are listening to this and it's already been out, so they can compare and contrast of what our views were to how it actually turned out. But hopefully it'll be good. But yeah, I would say that this is the best, like you said, the sweetest adventure movie. I think it's the most compelling. You're really drawn into it, and it's not a movie that you have to explain to people. I think if you watch John Carter, I don't know if you have to have already read Burroughs' book, or if who's this person and why should we care about that person and things. This one, the stakes, the good guys, the bad guys, and obviously this is the two good guys plotting out what they're going to do next because they're in big trouble with the FBI, and so this is the first time we've come back to them in after leaving the gazebo, as PV points out. I did not know that they had portable radios that small back in the day there, but it is a nice.
I was trying to figure out the brand and make and model of this one. I haven't been successful so far.
Of course you were, Hal.
Well, of course I was trying at least. Although now I've got to sit here in front of the original Finhead himself and say that I'm not admitting failure. I'm just telling you I have not yet succeeded. So maybe that's a way to do it. But in digging around to try to figure out maybe what it could have been, there were several very comparable models that these sort of tabletop radios that were portable and had the handles like that. So so certainly important. In fact, what we see in the hospital, that Packard Bell radios, even a little bit smaller than this, although not necessarily portable. That'd be AC powered.
And if I remember correctly, Lothar also had one parked on his little nightstand there next to his cup of tea.
That's right, when he's listening to Madame Butterfly and eating his cucumber sandwiches with the crust cut off, or whatever that was, as one is wont to do. I just love that they're huddled around a radio to begin with, and that we see that more than once in this movie. That's just this reminder that's where your news came from. That's where your entertainment and everything came from, and the breaking news about the Rocketeer, and then returning to our evening of dance band favorites. I just adore it.
And they're hiding up in the head of a bulldog. So now,
Yes.
I think Billy, you had mentioned in an earlier minute that this head of the bulldog was a different set from the one that was on location in Valencia.
I think so, but I don't have a clear picture in my head of where it was, and for some reason, I do have some kind of memory of it actually being in the bulldog's head, but then again, I feel certain that it can't be. So I don't know.
It is a beautiful set, though. All those the antique canned corn and all that stuff in the background.
You can just drive yourself crazy just trying to spot labels and things like that. The one that did jump out at me was as they crossed the room to sort of respond to Millie and Malcolm, yelling from down below, just off to I'm scrubbing back and forth here, just off to the left of the screen. In there, you see this crate with this colorful label on it, and that's Safe Hit Vegetables. That's Safe Hit brand Texas vegetables. So from your neck of the woods, Jim. Okay. And I looked it up. Since it's from Texas, it must be close by. It's only an 8-hour drive from where you are. It's they were headquartered in Westlaco, Texas, which looks like it's sort of straight south of Corpus Christi, right near the border there.
Yeah, a bit of a hike down there in the Rio Grande Valley, which is kind of the breadbasket of Texas. A great growing place. Lots of it's kind of where the grapefruit belt ends.
I'm sorry, I wasn't even actually aware that there was a grapefruit belt, but this the artwork on this label, if you're out there, just Google it. You can find reprints and posters and things. It was apparently a fairly popular brand. It's just gorgeous. This old time baseball player, knocking one out of the park, and it's so vivid. And then also on the back wall, there's a newspaper that's opened up and tacked up, and I can't quite make out the headline. Maybe you've had better luck, Jim, but the one thing that stands out to me is the big that most of it is a Safeway advertisement.
Yeah, it's mentioning tomatoes, I think.
Right, tomatoes are 5 cents, and then there's potatoes. It looks like 10 for 17 cents.
But yes, they have no bananas, I guess.
But yes, they have no bananas. And something Jonathan's. I'm not sure what is. I wonder if you know what that would be. They're stone tomatoes, whatever that's worth.
Aren't they?
But Safeway, one of the big grocery stores that is sort of missed from the West Coast that we don't have around here in the Midwest.
Jonathan Apples, I believe. They're
sure, Jonathan Apples.
They're like spy, spy apples, Rome apples. Jonathan apples are a popular New England fruit.
Well then, we learn a little every time, don't we?
My wife used to work she used to work on an Army base, Fort Devens in Massachusetts, and there was a Jonathan apple farm around the corner from her, and apples in October there are like tomatoes in most of the rest of the country. You have so many apples that you bring home from these places at dirt cheap prices that you start making apple pies and apple sauce and every kind of apple thing you can make. And it's like giving them to your neighbors because you just brought home too many things. You're like, oh, this will be great. I really like Apple.
Billy, a question for you. We've talked before about other actors and the courtesy of sort of being there for the off-camera stuff, and where this, as we say, we think that this upstairs inside the Bulldog Cafe was at least possibly a separate set. When you and Alan Arkin have lines with Millie and Malcolm downstairs, it looks to me like they're probably in the normal Bulldog Diner set, unless they somehow recreate it, but we're shooting straight down at them.
No, I think they are in the normal Bulldog Diner set. I really think that we shot upstairs. I think that the top of the Bulldog, the back of the head, if you can picture back of the head of the top of the Bulldog peeled away, and that they had a platform up, like a scaffolding, up over the back of the Bulldog.
Okay.
So it's like one wild wall?
Yeah, one wild wall, and then we shot in the top of the Bulldog. I something in my memory says that was the case. I could be wrong, but
so you would each be doing your sides from where you were located, at the top of the stairs or at the bottom.
Yeah.
Both of these are subjective shots. They're great. You know, we're Malcolm and Millie, and then we're Cliff and Peavy looking down. So it really sticks you in the scene, and then it really kind of adds to the drama of finding out that Bigelow's dead. So it's I think that it helps put you in the gravity of what's just happened.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the end of the act. This is where we're watching this is you've changed your mind. You're going to make the call and you're going to get rid of the X3. It was crazy hanging on to it.
I'm sort of scrubbing around here. And just as Millie and Malcolm are moving away from the ladder, I'm looking at William Sanderson sitting at the counter, and I'm also looking at someone, and I'm not sure that that's Goose.
Really?
Yeah. I, for some reason, think that's... Why am I thinking that that's Joe?
Joe would be the next guy down. There was another...
Oh, okay.
I will find a minute and send it to you offline, but we'll get a definitive one on this. The next time you're on, we're gonna get a Joe or no Joe.
yes, we'll make the Joe or no Joe call.
We need to answer
at that
question.
time. Yeah, before we reset the countdown clock.
But we've been in this set many times, but what a beautiful set! Just a fantastic.
It really is.
All that woodwork and the beadboard and just and the lettering on the windows.
Yeah, that soap lettering. It's just gorgeous, and I never get tired of looking at all the pictures and trying to figure out. I mean, this is like every little airport cafe I've ever been in, except it's shaped like a dog. But otherwise, I sort of set myself up for that one. But seriously, just all the framed pictures up on the wall and the model airplanes hanging from the ceiling.
Hal,
it's just so evocative.
Hal, as a general aviation guy, you do the thing called the $100 hamburger.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So, just for folks who don't fly, could you explain what a $100 hamburger?
So the joke of it is that a lot of times it's a beautiful day, you want to go flying and you feel like you want to go somewhere, and not for any particular major purpose, but going and having lunch or having a dinner is always a good excuse to hop in an airplane and go someplace, especially if it's a place that maybe you can't otherwise get to as easily or as quickly. When I used to live out in the Pacific Northwest, we would fly out to the San Juan Islands, and we could go to Friday Harbor and Orcas Island and some places like that. And we could be there in 20 minutes, what would otherwise take us maybe 3+ hours of driving and 2 ferry rides and whatever delays that might entail. And we'd be there 20 minutes, have lunch, come back. So the joke is that you go and you buy the hamburger, but you spend $100 on gas getting there and coming back. But it's always worth it. I can't even try to claim that it's not.
Are there hamburger or restaurants that cater specifically to the aviation crowd?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I mean, there's restaurants. I mean, number one, there's restaurants at small airports like that, and but there's there's a few restaurants right around here where I am in Wisconsin where you sort of land at the airport, and they might even have special airplane parking, and you sort of taxi across the grass from the airport to the restaurant, and then shut the airplane down and get out and feel like some kind of conquering hero as you climb out of your airplane and say, 1 hamburger, please. But
we were just flying by and we got hungry.
Exactly. We thought we'd just drop in. So
they don't have you roll down the window so they can hang a tray, I guess.
Right. Yes. For some reason, most of the windows don't roll down, but that's but then again, flying something open cockpit, you don't even there's no windows to even roll down.
Yeah,
so.
Show up in a Stearman, they've got you covered. So.
Right.
Any clue on the planes hanging off the ceiling, which I don't think we've seen before?
We don't really get a good look at them. It's really, really tough to tell the one in the background. The one in the foreground would be British Royal Flying Corps, World War I era. You can just see the top of the roundel on the top of the left upper wing. And from the front, without seeing the whole fuselage, I can't say for sure, but I put my money on either a Sopwith pup, maybe a Camel, but probably a pup because it doesn't look like the fuselage has the arch in it. Behind that one is really tough, that sort of orange and yellow one. The color scheme would make me guess a Curtiss Robin, just because that was a sort of a factory color scheme for it, but it could also be a model of a number of other sort of high-wing monoplanes, or it may just be a model. There was a lot of the sort of the free flight models and things back then, in particular, that weren't meant to be an exact duplicate of any quote-unquote real airplane. It was just, here's a nice looking design that flies well and that sort of thing.
Your knowledge is immense and somewhat scary.
You frighten us.
Well then, okay, Mr. Ted Bundy. Turnabout is fair play.
Yeah, but it's it is a beautiful set, and now I want to redecorate my entire house to be inside of a dog.
I just desperately want to get one of the and we've talked about this before, Jim, but the Bigelow's Air Circus, the pennant. You see one of the 1931, the dark blue one there. We see other colors and other years elsewhere in the movie, and so many little pictures to try to zoom in on and look at.
I have a just a tiny wisp of something in my head that makes me think that what did they do with the Bulldog? Did it end up somewhere?
There are conflicting stories. There was the Bulldog reappeared at the Disneyland Hollywood Adventure. Am I saying that correctly? And then it kind of disappeared, and then a version of it reappeared in Burbank at a place called, now the name escapes me. How you may
there was a reproduction, like maybe a 7/8 scale reproduction that was built. It was at the Peterson Automotive Museum, so I think that might be the one that you're thinking of, Jim. But the original one, or at least what portended to be the original, sat on that back lot, and you could see it on that MGM tour, the Disney Hollywood Studios tour. Along with, I can remember seeing the GB mock-up from the end of the film. I want to say maybe even the Hughes autogyro. And it was, and then you'd have a snow speeder from The Empire Strikes Back next to it, and then the cockpit mock-up from Blue Thunder, all kinds of stuff sitting around. And it was so cool to see, but you're just driving by on the open bus. You can't stop or really get a good look at it. And it was all outside and sort of going to seed. It was very, very sad. I do know, if you go over to, we've mentioned this forum before, the RPF.com, the Replica Prop Forum. There's a couple of guys on there who seem to have documented everything that was on that backlot tour, and they take their pictures and say, from 91 to 93 it was here, and these sorts of things. So
yeah, the Idle Hour was the name of the bar I was thinking of. It's on
okay.
Here's a clue. It's 4824 Vineland Avenue in Los Angeles, California. And in there they have a kind of a beer garden in the back of the place, and it's in the middle of the beer garden, they have this, apparently the one that came from Disney, although really? Not very sure what its provenance is, but the best belief is that it's part of the original Disney one, and they bought it, put it out in the beer garden, and you can actually rent out the interior of it. You can rent out. It's not built like the Bulldog that we see here, but they have tables and chairs, and apparently it's available for special events and stuff. But that's the Idle Hour, 4824 Vineland Avenue, Los Angeles. I've reached out to them, and hopefully we'll have somebody on the show that can give us a little bit more explanation. It's almost at the it's near Lancashire, and like where Ventura Freeway meets the 101.
But do we think it's the we think it's the original?
No, I think it's actually the one that was abandoned in Anaheim from
okay.
Disney. So I don't know what happened to the one that was in Valencia.
All right.
But if anybody out there knows, and we do have a lot of prop folks listening in, so if anybody out there knows, please reach out to us. We'll be going over the regular social places, but if you've been listening to the show, you know where to get a hold of them all. Actually, we kind of have to wrap things up here because it is we're coming up on people that are listening to this are probably getting tired on their treadmill. But we've got a lot. We do have a lot. This is a great minute though. We've got a lot to talk about now with some more people showing up at not the regulars at the Bulldog, but we're gonna have some kind of scary people coming up next week. And Billy, I think you'll be back with us hopefully soon.
I would think so.
Awesome. Okay, we'll keep checking back. We never know when he shows up. It's like. It's like having a snow day.
Exactly. We don't know until we hear the music.
Yeah, that's true. So we keep waiting. So just check in with us next week. But if you haven't been listening to us or you're jumping around randomly, this would be a good time to binge with us. As we always say, you can get us on the usual social media things: Twitter, Rocketeer Minute, Facebook.com/Rocketeer Minute or RocketeerMinute.com. But go out there, subscribe, iTunes, Google Play, and just type in Rocketeer and Rocketeer Minute, and you can click and subscribe on us so you can catch up to a major binge listen on our show, and you want to be up to date on all this stuff.
And reviews are welcomed.
Always welcome, yes, especially the ones that have as many stars as you can click on. So that always helps us because the more people listen to this, the more people read those reviews, the more people will listen, and then we can tell people that we're very popular. So while you're out binging, don't forget to binge. If you're in the U.S. on Hulu, you can watch Billy's great show, Cardinal, which is you have to watch it with the lights on. I'll tell you that. My after we watched it, my wife was like, "Do we really have to go to sleep now? Because it's kind of spooky." But excellent show.
It's like spooky how much he's aged in 25 years.
Well, he doesn't seem to have the X3, and I don't know.
I can't get it out of my head. My eyes.
Whereas Jim and I have not. I'm still a 24-year-old at heart.
It's
at best.
Yeah, it is spooky. Let me put it that way. But it's fun. A great cast, a great plot, a great script, and it really is the future of television. I mean, all those when you watch episodic TV now, you can just watch a really long movie. Is what it's like. Yeah. And I just love it. And there's more to come because even as we speak, Billy is filming the second season. So you really got to catch up. You're 6 hours behind, so get on it. But check that out on Hulu or BBC4 or whatever part of the world you're in. It's probably on your streaming device or TV network. Go check it out. Go look around. But join us back here next week, and we'll find out what's going to happen when Cliff calls the FBI. Here on the Rocketeer Minute. So see you next week. Have a great weekend. Until next time, over and out.
Over and out, boys. Thanks again.